Hey.
Alright, so if you guys haven't heard by now, there's this really niche NBA player called LeBron James. He's in his 21st year in the NBA. I know it's crazy, and he's still dominating. Crazy. It's so insane. So crazy. If you haven't heard of him, you gotta check him out. Nah, all jokes aside though, LeBron still doing this in the year 21 at age 38 is absolutely insane. His Lakers facing an upstart Rockets team that has been red hot to open the season, and he just calmly comes out and drops 37, 8 and 6 with 3 steals, does it on 19 shots, super efficient. And outside of a really good Anthony Davis game and a few buckets from Austin Reaves and just a few plays here and there from other guys, it was mainly LeBron that was willing them to this victory. I think the coolest part about watching LeBron at this point in his career is that he has just played so much basketball that he just knows what's going to happen on the court before it even happens. I know people have said it countless times again and again. But at this point in his career, he really does just make everything look so effortless. And right now, I know the big conversation is about his minutes and keeping him limited and healthy so that he's good for later in the season. But to be honest, I think this is the healthiest LeBron has looked in quite a few years. It will obviously be something to monitor as the season goes on, but for now, he looks fresh, he looks fine, and although you definitely don't want to see him playing almost 40 minutes every single game, I think in a game like this where it's close and the Lakers need as many wins as possible in this stacked Western Conference, that, you know, just let him loose for a little bit. Because again, he's looking great physically and athletically. The rim pressure on offense is still what stands out most to me. I know it's been the staple of his career for, again, 21 years now. But I loved how the Lakers were using him in this game and how they've been using him this season. It's a lot less of him just isoing guys on the perimeter and taking them to the rim, because that exerts a lot of energy, although he still is able to do that and still will do that occasionally. The Lakers now like to use him in the pick and roll as the roll man, especially in lineups when Anthony Davis is not on the court and it's a front court of LeBron and like Christian Wood or Jackson Hayes. They love using him as a roll man, and it's great to get him the ball in the short roll and just let him attack the rim from there. It usually sets up a runway for him. He had a couple of nice drives in this one where he got some and ones. LeBron still also remains a tremendous off-ball cutter. There was one point in the game where Şengün was in foul trouble and they put in Jock Landale, who was trying to cover Anthony Davis to the best of his abilities. And the Rockets end up setting a bunch of double teams, and obviously if you're, someone that doesn't have the ball and your teammate's being doubled, your job is to cut to the rim, and LeBron just does it at such perfect timing. And I had to mention this one play because if you do give him a runway out of a pick and roll with him as the ball handler, he's still a freak athletically. He can still rise up and just throw down the most thunderous dunk you've ever seen, and this is the reason why people continue to love LeBron James. Now, interestingly enough, although we had 37 points in this one, the first quarter was actually a lot more of LeBron dishing the ball. Rockets were putting a lot of defensive pressure on him and not letting him in the paint as easily as he was able to get there later in the game. But the first quarter was still a great reminder that as long as LeBron can just take some defensive focus, he could play in this league as long as he wants to, because he is excellent at manipulating defenses, finding the open man, and hitting them right on the money for easy shots. I'm pretty sure he had something like 5 assists in that first quarter, and it was a whole variety of things. Him running pick and roll and just making great pocket passes to the roll man, him attacking in transition or driving to the rim and then kicking out to open shooters. I personally really like this one play here where the Rockets sent the double team at him and he uses the no-look pass to find his man under the rim for the easy lay. But perhaps the most telling thing that LeBron is doing great physically and in shape wise so far this season is that he is still giving it his all on the defensive side of the ball. Defense is usually a good litmus test to see how much LeBron is actually, how much effort he's putting into these games. And maybe this was just a Dylan Brooks thing. Maybe he wanted to get this win specifically because the Rockets are a young team that are starting to threaten in the West, so he wanted to put his stamp on it. But it was refreshing to once again see LeBron darting around the court defensively. He was making some really good rotations, jumping passing lanes, had a poke from behind steal on Şengün in the post. And overall, it was nice to see him actually just give a shit defensively, because there have been times in the past where you could tell that he's slacking off and not giving it his all. And again, I think it's just a testament to how truly healthy he is right now and how he's feeling. And then one last really crazy LeBron storyline that I wasn't even aware of it until I watched the game and heard from the commentary, but apparently LeBron is having a career high season so far in terms of field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, and all those kinds of stats. And although the 3-point shot still isn't there, it is ridiculous that in year 21 years of basketball, with all of the insane seasons we've seen this man have, to now be this old and now be having your career best season in terms of making shots efficiently. It's ridiculous. And it was on full display in this game too. He was hitting some crazy turnaround middies as usual. Again, the 3-point shot, still, jury's out on that one. I personally wish LeBron would just stop chucking threes. But it's always been the case that when LeBron has the mid-range shot going like he did in this one, that he's just pretty much impossible to guard because you can't let him shoot, you can't let him drive. The best thing you can pray for is that he just chucks up a 3, which he will do occasionally. Now, as for the rest of the Lakers, this is a team that I predicted would be the #1 seed in the West by the time the playoffs came around, and I'm a little shook. I won't lie, I'm a little shook, but I do think they start climbing these standings eventually. As I mentioned at the top of the video, it was a good Anthony Davis game. Again, this Rockets team is pretty small, especially once Şengün was out with foul trouble in the third quarter. And Anthony Davis dominated when it was Jeff Green, Jock Landale, and just smaller lineups in general for Houston. And those are the spots where you need Anthony Davis to step up. And it's such a simple thing, and I know it's very obvious, but when Anthony Davis is being physical and dominating the paint, this Lakers team just looks so much better. It was also nice to see Austin Reaves finally have a good game. I know he has been in the doghouse so far, even got relegated to the bench. But if we remember last year, Reaves also started last season on the bench, and then around like the All-Star break-ish, entered the starting lineup and became a staple for this team. And again, I'm fine with it. It's early in the season enough that I think Reaves will bounce back and enter the starting lineup at some point again. But you just gotta find his shot again. He was looking more like last year Austin Reaves in this one than this season's current Austin Reaves, so that's a step in the right direction. And he really needed that go-ahead 3 at the end of the game. That was so big for his confidence. I can only imagine how much that's gonna do for him for these next couple of games moving forward. And then the last guy I want to talk about is Cam Reddish, because from what I've seen, he's been a polarizing player amongst Laker fans so far this season, and I think it started around that time where he missed that clutch 3 at the end of the game. I think it might have been a game-winning 3. Either way, Lakers fans were on his ass for that. And I'm also, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm a Cam Reddish hater, but there's a reason. I always believe that there was a reason why he was bouncing around from team to team and never sticking around or getting good minutes. There was a reason why he wasn't playing. But since joining the Lakers starting lineup, I have to say I've been impressed by Cam Reddish. The jury is still out offensively. You might want to avert your eyes if he ever has the ball in his hands attacking the rim. But defensively, he has been a godsend for this team. The way he plays the point of attack is insane. He was putting ball pressure on Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green for all 39 minutes that he played in this game. Even had some great steals. There was one where Fred VanVleet was being lazy with an inbounds pass in the backcourt, and Cam Reddish snuck up out of nowhere and stole it. And it's plays like that as a Lakers fan, I just feel like you have to appreciate from Cam Reddish, that he is working his ass off defensively, and he's definitely earned these starter level minutes. And he's been especially important since Jared Vanderbilt still does not look like he's coming back anytime soon. I think that this is a role that Vanderbilt will probably take back at some point this season once he's healthy. But for now, with the way Cam Reddish is playing as a fill-in guy, I just don't really see how you can be that mad at him. Either way, this Lakers team continues to be a work in progress. Their 3-point shooting is still bottom of the league. I would expect that to turn around at some point just because they have been, it's not that they've been bad, they've been like really bad. But outside of that, I think the other main keys are keeping Anthony Davis and LeBron healthy, keeping Anthony Davis aggressive, and again, I really do think LeBron is looking the healthiest he has, maybe his entire career in LA, except for when he first got there. And even though I had them, predicted to finish first in the West, even if they finish like 4th or 5th, even like the play-in, as long as LeBron and AD are healthy going into the playoffs, you cannot count this team out as a championship contender. That's all I got for this one. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll see you on the next one.